Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. It's the week of June 23rd and it's time for the Universal Energy Forecast again. And I am so ready for this Mercury retrograde to be over, and it's going to be this week. We only got 1 week left, so let's take a look and see what's in store for us this week. So I decided to use 2 decks instead of typically the 1 deck that I normally use. I'm going to start with Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, choose 2 cards from there, and then I'm going to end the story with 2 cards from Wisdom of Avalon. So let's begin. Oh, interesting. Well, they're always interesting, but this is particularly interesting. So the first 2 cards of the Universal Energy Forecast for this week represent the Lady of the Mirror, which was about reflection, self-reflection, but non-judgment. Key word right there is non-judgment. And the second card is the Resting Tree, which is about patience and stillness. So let's see what Avalon completes the story with. We have Letting Go, apropos. And, oh, this is very interesting. We have the Merlin. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when we began the interview with Robert Ohado, when I did the cards for that week at the very beginning of the Mercury retrograde cycle, we talked about the card, the Merlin, because this entire 3 weeks is all about alchemy. So this concludes the alchemy, and let's see what the elements are. So Mercury retrograde cycles are always about revisiting certain things and looking at them again. So it's when everything slows down for us to revisit, and we will sometimes reunite with people and we get opportunities to go over things, and I find them to be they can be frustrating at sometimes, but typically what I learn about myself through the retrograde cycle is usually very powerful. If we begin with the Lady of the Mirror, it talks about getting into the observer self. In other words, being neutral when we look at ourselves. Typically, people, if they start to take a look at their character flaws or the fact that they get stuck or being victims, they get very negative and shame starts, and then you don't change anything because then you just keep reinforcing the same story over and over again. But when you get into the observer, which is a part of what I teach in the Envision process as well, you get distance from the situation that you're looking at. And I like to say, go with curiosity. When the Lady of the Mirror comes, reflect, look in that mirror with curiosity and go, that's interesting, look at what I see. As opposed to like, oh my God, look at what I see, it's terrible. Be detached. Look, that's all we're required to do this week. Then the Resting Tree is about patience. You aren't going to build Rome overnight. Now, you can have an epiphany. Obviously, that's what this is all about this week. Alchemy is about the epiphany of learning that you have all these amazing parts to turn iron ore into gold. But patience, being patient with yourself. Don't expect it all to happen overnight. You've been like this your whole life. If we're going to change, it takes some time. So I really want to encourage everybody to get still. And I love that saying, be still and know that I am God. So it's that connection to spirit. We need that conscious contact to our spirits this week, to our higher self, our higher power. The next card of Letting Go, which is releasing yourself from the bondage of self. So that bondage of the wounded ego that keeps you hostage to your past. That's what all of us are required to look at this week. How do we change? How do we transform? How do we have this better life that we all want? How do we have compassion for ourselves and others as we go through this universal shift and change that is happening to every single person, not just you and me? We just are here together because we're aware of it. So letting go is letting go the tight holds you have on other people or expectations. It's a lot of releasing this week. And don't be surprised if you're going to probably do some detoxing this week as well, too. It's actually a good week to do a detox, given that these things are asking you to be quiet, stay still, be reflective. So again, we conclude this week with the Merlin. We started with the Merlin and we ended with the Merlin in this cycle. And that really is about finding the treasure there. In the most difficult places, Joseph Campbell said, where you stumble, there lies the treasure. So it's in those difficult moments, the places you don't want to look, where you're going to find your greatest gifts. And right now, All of us are going through this, so know you're not alone, and just remember, lead with compassion. That's your #1 priority now. Anyway, we'll see you next week. Hope this was helpful. Mwah. Love you all. Bye.
Traveling down the road, I didn't know that I was lost. I had tried too many shortcuts, and the cost left my heart broken. So I had it closed for repairs. Wandering in my desert, your oasis appears. You're like a long, cool drink of water. I'm thirsty, that's clear when I taste you. I know you, I know you, I do. So can you feel it? Tell me, I need to know. Do you remember? Don't it feel like coming home? Your eyes are like the sea as it reflects the summer sky. You know I remember sailing there in some other life in your ocean. I'll swim till the end of time. You know that fate has got her own ideas. No matter what we plan, I know she weaves a spell around me when I am touching your hand. I'm touching your hand. So can you feel it? Tell me, I need to know. Do you remember? Don't it feel like coming home? So can you feel me? Tell me, I need to know. And can you hear me singing for you to come home? Don't it feel like coming 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 home? Wandering in my desert. So can you feel me? You're like a long, cool drink of water. So can you hear me? Singing for you to come home.